Alright guys, today's goal, the learner will master being able to solve radical equations. Equations with radicals that have variables in their radicands are called radical equations. An example of a radical equation is the cube root of the quantity 2x plus 7 equals 3. So here's our steps. Step 1, isolate the radical on one side of the equation if necessary. Step 2, raise each side of the equation to the same power to eliminate the radical and obtain a linear, quadratic, or other polynomial equation. Step 3, solve the polynomial equation. Use techniques you learned in previous chapters. Check your solution. So let's look. Step 1 says, isolate the radical on one side of the equation if necessary. Well, so we got to isolate it, so that means we got to divide both sides by 2 here. So you get the cube root of x minus 3 equals 2. Check. Raise each side of the equation to the same power to eliminate the radical and obtain a linear, quadratic, or other polynomial. So if it's the cube root, that means we got to raise it to the third power. So we get x minus 3 equals 8. X equals 11. Check your solution. 2 times the cube root of 11 minus 3 equals 4. 2 times the cube root of 8 equals 4. 2 times 2 equals 4. 4 equals 4. Check. So there's the steps, guys. Okay? Extraneous solutions. Raising each side of an equation to the same power may introduce extraneous solutions. When you use this procedure, you should always check each apparent solution in the original equation. So extraneous means an extra, means it does not exist even though it was there. So, okay? So let's take a look at this. Isolate it. Okay. This one's a little different because it's not just a root. So let's take a look at this one way. If I said this is the cube root of x minus 5 to the 4th power. Well, to undo the 4th power, I'd have to do the 4th root. And to undo the cube root, I'd have to do to the 3rd power. So how do we write that? Let's just say this is x right now. How do we write that as a fraction? It would be x to the 3/4. Notice the relationship between 4/3 and 3/4. Okay. So what we need to do here is take both sides to the 3/4 power. So I'd get x minus 5, because that would be 1, because 4 times 3 is 12, 3 times 4 is 12, 12 divided by 12 is 1. So I get x minus 5 equals 81 to the 3/4. Well, the 4th root of 81, so if we simplify that, the 4th root of 81 is 3. 3 to the 3rd, 27. So x equals 27. So let's plug that in and check. X doesn't equal 27. X equals 32. So 32 minus 5 to the 4/3 equals 81. 27 to the 4/3 equals 81. Well, that would be 3 to the 4th. So 81 equals 81. So it works out. Okay? So let's go back, try the next one now. Okay. Divide by -1, or -2. X to the 3/4 equals 8. So, see how we multiplied by or did the power of the reciprocal? So what's the reciprocal of 3/4? 4/3. So you always go to the power of the reciprocal. So you get x equals, well, that would be 2 to the 4th, because the cube root of 8 is 2, so 2 to the 4th, 16. Okay. Let's check it. -2, 16 to the 3/4 equals -16. 16 to the 3/4 is 8. -16 equals -16. Check. So we're good so far. Alright, let's take a look at a couple more. So step 1, do we have it isolated? Yes. Okay. So how do we get rid of the square root? Square it. Square it. So this would be x squared minus x plus 1/4 equals 1/4 x. So how could I get rid of all of my fractions? Well, multiply by the common denominator. So I get 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals x. Subtract the x. 4x squared minus 5x plus 1 equals 0. So now remember, you do a times c, so 4 times 1 is 4. What multiplies to 4 and adds is -5? -4 and 1. So that means you need 4x and x. -1, -1. So I would get 4x minus 1 equals 0. X minus 1 equals 0. X equals 1/4. X equals 1. Now we got to check these. So, let's watch. So we have to use the original equation again here. X minus 1/2 equals the square root of 1/4 x. 1/4 minus 1/2 equals the square root of 1/4 times 1/4. Well, that would be 2/4. So this would be -1/16 equals, or not -1/16, -1/4 equals +1/4. Is that true? No. So that's the extraneous. Let's see if the other one is. 1 minus 1/2 equals 1/4 times 1. That would be 2/2 minus 1/2 equals 1/2. Does 1/2 equal 1/2? Yes. So there's your solution. This is extraneous. Okay? So let's go try the next one. It is isolated, so square both sides. So 10x plus 9 equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. Remember, that's x plus 3, x plus 3. Okay? So subtract those over. So I'd go factor it. So I get x equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. X equals 4. So check for extraneous. Square root of 10 times 0 plus 9 equals 0 plus 3. Square root of 9 equals 3. 3 equals 3. Check. Check it for the 4. 10 times 4 plus 9 equals 4 plus 3. So square root of 49 equals 7. 7 equals 7. Check. So both of these are solutions. There were no extraneous. Okay? Let's try some more. Okay, solve the equation, check for extraneous. Okay. Square both sides. You get 2x plus 5 equals x plus 7. X plus 5 equals 7, so x equals 2. Check it. Make sure it works. Okay. So this one is tough. I look at my head here and I think, okay, I gotta isolate the radicals, but they're on both sides. I can't really add the 2 over. So that's why it said if necessary. So if you can't get rid of it, we still gotta think, how do we get rid of these radicals? We square both sides. So this side is going to be x minus 2. Now this side, though, remember this is so you're going to get x minus 6 minus 2x minus square root of x minus 6 minus 2 square root of x minus 6 plus 4 equals x minus 2. So x minus 6 minus 4 square root of x minus 6, because these two are like terms, negative 2 minus 2. So let's see, minus 6 plus 4, x minus 2. So subtract this over, add this over. Subtract, add. So I get negative 4 times the square root of x minus 6 equals 0. Divide both sides by negative 4. X minus 6 equals 0. Square. X minus 6 equals 0, so x equals 6. Check to see if it's extraneous. Let me know if it is or isn't tomorrow. But let's go back through. So we still have to square both sides, right? We did right here. Square root of x minus 6 times square root of x minus 6 is x minus 6. And maybe what I should have done to help keep it in the right path here is use the parentheses. And then square root of x minus 6 times negative 2, negative 2x minus 6. Negative 2 times the square root, negative 2 times negative 2, 4. Okay? So sometimes there's going to be a little more work to do. A little more steps, not necessarily different work, just different steps. Okay? So be ready to roll tomorrow, guys. See you then.